Is Bitcoin getting ready to make new all-time highs? And are S&Ps about to do the same? Are the S&Ps about to break up to 7,200? Hello and welcome to the Trading Pit. Personal investing and trading tools for the active trader and investor. I am Lundy Hill and this is not investment or financial advice. These are charts that caught my attention in commodities, stocks, and cryptos for the week ending Friday, July 18th, 2025. First we go to the NASDAQ futures. They carried up through its mean reversion setup from last week, which I highlighted last week, albeit with some volatility. A simple mean reversion method is to buy in a well-defined uptrend after 2 down days. I've labeled these down days as number 1 and number 2. Monday and Wednesday showed downside volatility, and volatility is another word for risk. And risk is another way of saying the market moved against you. If you stayed long, you would have been rewarded as price today gapped up and formed a classic Larry Williams oops pattern, which is gapping up above the prior day's high, falling back into the prior day's range, and closing below that day's close and today's open. A similar pattern to this occurred Tuesday, although Tuesday did not close below Monday's close. That, I believe, was still enough to send prices down to start Wednesday. Will that pattern play out Monday? Is that what will happen? An early morning sell-off followed by an afternoon rally with follow-through on Tuesday to new highs? Only time will tell. Next to the S&Ps, here are the ES futures contracts, or the ES futures contract. It had a breakout of its cup and handle pattern. It is formed over the course of 2025, so 6-7 months here. The breakout was today, was unconvincing. A breakout of the handle pattern, handle across the top of the cup, because the close was below the open and well below the highs of the day. I still think we have a 7,200 price target in play for the S&Ps and ES futures. And you've got a low risk trade here by buying this breakout with a stop below the handle low. Next is gold. This is the same as last week. Gold is holding within 5% of its all-time highs. Gold has rallied over 27% this year, so that's an amazing move. If you have it in your long-term portfolio, it is definitely helping. My 50-25-25 portfolio has almost double the performance of the standard 60-40 stocks bonds portfolio. And currently prices are forming a pennant up here at these highs. I think this sets up buys via momentum, meaning buying breakouts, as opposed to mean reversion. That said, I think you buy rallies and pullbacks. This is the weekly chart, and if you go, this goes back a couple of years, back to 2023. And if you note that Rubicon channel triggered a buy way down at 2,000 in October 2023, and I kind of cut that off on this chart here. But since then, gold has rallied almost 70%, or over $1,300. So it's rallied from 2,000 to 3,300 since this Rubicon channel breakout. Keeping with precious metals, let's go to silver. Here is the silver daily chart. Silver had a week of congestion with not much action, just 2 down days, which is again a mean reversion after a good strong up move last week. And then you had the start of the next up move here. I have kind of drawn a little pattern that I think will play out here. Of course, past performance is not indicative of future results. I think we might see an ABC correction down to 4, down to about 37.25, maybe to hold at 37.50 before we assault those new highs. Next, let's go to copper. Copper had a dramatic move and then pulled back to its 50% reaction level at around 543 last week and this week, and then it's congested. This week was mostly narrow range days, forming my pattern number 7 trend up signal. And then today, Friday, showed a pattern number 5 reversal of the reaction, which is a 4 close reversal. So that says higher prices are coming. Both of those patterns, patterns 7 and 5, are part of my 9 patterns that signal a trend change. That was originally published by my father back in the 1990s and early 2000s. On to soybeans. I was completely wrong on soybeans. I thought we had a breakout down in soybeans, but we rallied hard this week, and beans are definitely breaking the seasonal trend of price dropping in the second half of July. However, July is not over. We still got a week or so left. We still got almost 2 weeks left in July. Note that this is a daily bar chart. Note the tall tail on the high of this bar right along that trend channel, that trend line coming down off the previous 2 highs. That's a definite sign of sellers coming in, and I personally will be alert for sell signals on the lower time frames, the 4-hour, the 1-hour, and the 30-minute, for at least a move back down to test that $10 to $10.10 range. Finally, let's go to cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin had a lackluster week. Today formed a second down bar of the week. So this could be forming the second and final low of an ABC correction before new all-time highs are reached on next week. Of note, at the bottom of the chart is the stochastics falling out of the overbought territory. I like to buy things in the overbought territory in stochastics when it goes into overbought territory. If you note the start of July, Bitcoin was around 109,000, and Bitcoin stochastic chart down at the bottom got more overbought as prices rallied $14,000 or over 10% to 123,000. All the while, stochastic stayed quote-unquote overbought. While the normies are out there trying to sell the overbought market, I'm buying it. This week, however, stochastics has dropped out of the overbought territory, and I'm thinking this could signal a little downward action. Of course, the fast line on the stochastics has broken above the slow line. The blue line has gone above the red line in the bottom graph, subgraph, indicating that this might be a bottoming pattern. So I will be buying strength on Monday, Sunday night and Monday. Not shown is Ethereum. Ethereum has had a 47% rally so far this month, the month of July. It had a great Rubicon channel breakout on July 8th around 2600, and price currently sits around 35.65, having found sellers at the high of Friday's action. I do believe that Ethereum will play catch up with Bitcoin, at least in terms of making new all-time highs. So I think the percentage play might be Ethereum over Bitcoin. The dollar play, obviously, what will go up the most dollars, obviously, will probably be Bitcoin. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, reach out, leave a comment. Have a good day.